Okay, so hey everyone, and welcome to Kit Reacts slash Cat Responds. I don't really know what this video is going to end up being, really. It's one of those where I'm going to kind of talk over Smash Brothers a bit. We are entering the final 13 hours within the next 3 minutes of me recording this of the ultimate hype cycle. We're finally here, the final destination. So I kind of wanted to talk for a bit of my experiences with Smash over the years. I, like many people, my first Smash game was Melee. I'd play it as a kid. I made Bowser. I used to play with my uncle. I'd have fun. I'd burn his butt. And, it'd always be a good time. At the time, I didn't know that the game had any secret characters. I assumed that Falco Lombardi was a cruel prank being played on me. It wasn't. It was the first time I ever faced an enemy that was a new challenger. I was very young at this point. I was probably between 3 and 5 when I started playing Melee. And then one day when I was in nursery, for those who don't know, that's around like 4 years old, give or take, me and my friend Liam, we managed to break the disc. Which meant that I didn't have Melee for about, let's say, 4 or 5 years after that point. In fact, no, it wasn't 4 or 5. I was under 7 when I got it back. It was around this time that I discovered that Brawl was coming out. Approaching 2008, I believe it was, when Brawl came out. Let me just real quickly check. I don't really have dates updated. Yeah, 2008. Brawl was one of those that I honestly, when I first got the game, I adored it. It was the reason I got a Wii. I'd always wanted a Nintendo Wii because of Brawl. And between 2008 and 2009, I got one. I was still quite young at the time, so my memories are only vague. But it was fun. Over time, I got used to playing as characters such as Sonic, who I couldn't believe had gotten into that game. I was raised as a Nintendo kid, right? I was raised as if I'd been a 90s kid. I'm not. I'm a millennial. Give or take. But I was raised on 90s stuff. I was raised with a Super Nintendo, and I was raised with a Nintendo 64 and a Mega Drive. And yeah, I loved it. I loved them. But it did mean that my entire understanding of Sonic the Hedgehog was that he was a Sega character, and the Sega characters do not hit Nintendo consoles. Even at a young age, I had a basic understanding of the console wars. It was like an unspoken truth, like to me. It was just a fact of the universe. You didn't need to know. You just did. It with instinct. So, yeah, seeing Sonic in Brawl was a big deal. I didn't know who Solid Snake was at the time, but he would go on to become a character that I associated with the ultimate hype cycle incredibly, because during the Smash for Wii U and 3DS days, I absolutely adored Snake, and I wanted him back. Thing is, I played a lot of Wii U and 3DS, and I'd still go back to Brawl. The Subspace Emissary in particular, I'd go back to and play. But either way, at some point after I got Brawl, I saw in the game station Melee. You know, I saw Super Smash Bros. Melee for about 20 quid maybe. So with my birthday money, I bought it, telling my mom, who had owned the game originally, it was for her. You know, in reality, I just wanted my childhood game back. Everybody knew that. You know, it. Another unspoken truth of the human race. Everything is about us. So, over the years, I heard rumours that apparently there would be a DS Smash Brothers. You know, I think it was around 2010 at this point. It was before the announcement of a Smash 3DS, I'm pretty sure. At E3 2011, that was. I think it was just a rumour at the time. Just something that was knocked around on forums. And, you know, I'm going through a list of rumours now, trying to find out. Okay, so yeah, I'm not really sure. Yeah, the Smash rumours are incredibly, like, complex. It, like, there's a lot of them, is my point. I'm getting a little bit distracted now, but yeah. So I heard the rumours about a DS game, and was hoping that would come out. You know, I was hoping that would hit the DS. I would then go to regret those words around the time that I was 11, maybe 12, 13 even. Because I would go on to play a homebrew DS Smash Bros. Game called Super Smash Clash. I hate it to this day. It's too simple. You know, it doesn't seem to have any work really put into it beyond getting it working on a DS. You get like 2 moves. It's like playing Super Smash Slam, which is supposed to be uncomplicated. But yeah, so those rumours were flying around, and I believe another rumour I heard around that time, although it could have been a lot longer after, is that the whole Smash 64 is in the thing, is in the, what's it called, the vault, the masterpieces section. However, this did lead me to eventually play Smash 64 on the Wii Virtual Console. This rumour did, because I'd seen it knocking around in a game station window once. Smash 64. Like, fully boxed up. At the time, I called it Super Smash PAL. Super Smash Bros. PAL. Because of the way the PAL was positioned on the box near the game title. And yeah. I enjoyed Smash 64. Nothing really more to say about that. I unlocked all the characters. I was pretty done with it very quickly, because it's Smash 64. Why would I ever continue to play that? You know, it's honestly, it's pretty ridiculous. Like, I don't know what to say about that, really. It was Smash 64. it did what it needed to do. It started the franchise, and I'm grateful for that. Now, Smash 4. The first time I ever truly got hyped for a Smash game. You know, the first time I ever really was hyped in in the hype cycle. It was the first time I ever hit the hype cycle. I didn't hear any of the rumours regarding the game. I don't think. As it was still a bit early for that. For me. But I was quite heavily watching any news that came out about it. And I ended up, as a reward for exam results I had when finishing primary school, being allowed to pre-order the game. And this was when I only had the 3DS and not the Wii U. I enjoyed every minute of playing Smash for my 3DS. I did end up getting drift on my 3DS analog stick. I don't really use that 3DS anymore, as I ended up getting a new 3DS XL. But that's a lot longer down the line. Smash on the go was everything I hoped it would be. I'd play it everywhere. I'd play it at home, I'd play it at my nan's, I'd play it on long car journeys. I had quite a good time with it. And I'm glad that I played it, even if it's not the best version of Smash ever. It's the second worst, actually. As it should be, really. It's a handheld version of Smash. But it isn't Smash 64. But I digress. So, this was when the ice climbers were cut and they made changes that I severely disagreed with to characters such as Samus and Zelda / Sheik. So, yeah. I also met a friend of mine at my new school who also happened to be in the hype cycle for Smash. And I went to his house one day and I played the Wii U version when it came out in November of 2014. And it was incredible. I adored it. Made me really, really want a Wii U. Something that I'd never done before. I'd never wanted the thing. I always kind of figured I'd wait for Zelda on it. As it happens, you know, we all know the story when it came to Zelda for the Wii U. I was heavily involved in that hype cycle. I spent what feels like half of my childhood waiting for that game. It wasn't anywhere near that. It was like 4 years, but it felt like a long time, put it that way. And yeah, so Smash kept me going, and then they announced that Mewtwo Strikes Back. History lesson. When I discovered Mewtwo was in Super Smash Bros. Melee, I lost my shit. I loved Mewtwo when I played as him, and it was my first exposure to the Pokemon. Of course, I'd played Pokemon before, but I'd never seen a Mewtwo before. I hadn't watched the first movie at the time. My best exposure to the anime was Diamond and Pearl. In fact, my best exposure to the games was also Diamond, Pearl and Platinum, as well as my favourite game in the franchise, Heart Gold. And it was incredible. It was incredible playing as Mewtwo in Smash. I know that he's looked at as being a pretty low tier character, but playing as a Pokemon with psychic abilities really formulated a lot of my opinions on the franchise even then. And then to find out he wasn't in Brawl broke my heart. You know, it did. I heard rumours about Project M back then, but with the way Wii and GameCube emulation was at the time, I couldn't emulate it, and I didn't know how to hack a Wii. I just didn't. I didn't have the stuff to do it. I didn't know how. So it just never happened. I have played Project M now. I haven't played it in a long time, but I did play it. My only regret is I couldn't try it with a GameCube controller. Because I still didn't hack my Wii. I never did. I hacked my Wii U, just not my Wii. So, moving on. Because I'm getting distracted again and gushing over Mewtwo. Okay, so hearing that Mewtwo was coming to Smash 4, I thought, you know what, that would be a one-off DLC, but can they get my other favourite cut character in? Lucas. Now, around the time I turned 11, I went through a serious thing with the name Lucas, between the Diamond and Pearl character being called Lucas, and Lucas from Mother 3. As I now know, although at the time it was Lucas from Smash or Lucas from Earthbound. Neither of those are actually the case, mind you. But no, the reason I loved Lucas so much was because of his PK freeze. By the way, I still have not finished Mother 3. I did start it, but I didn't get very far. And I am trying to play through the entire franchise now. Because I keep getting told how wrong it is that I've never done so. But yeah, so that's the thing. Bloody hell, 17 minutes of me talking without any videos or anything playing. Okay, so yeah, this got me thinking about potential future DLC. And then they announced it. They were going to bring more fighters. More fighters are on the way, I believe they said. And I was happy. I was. They brought back Roy, another one of my all-time favourites. Fun fact, most of my favourites get cut. It's just a sad truth of the matter. I usually have to make new faves. Like, I have to get new mains and stuff every time that I play a game. Until Ultimate came along and I still got a new main just because I happen to like a particular character. But we'll get there. We'll get there. So, yeah. The only leak I ever heard about was when Roy and Ryu leaked. I was happy with all of the DLC. But there is one way I could have been happier. When the Smash ballot kicked a fuss up. Hang on. But yeah. I'll get to that in a bit. But yeah, so where was I? So, yeah, there was talk when the ballot came out about Banjo and Kazooie entering the battle. And, yeah, it is a bit, like, you gotta remember, BanjoKazooie is a very 90s franchise and is even though it's not owned by Nintendo anymore, it's owned by Microsoft. BanjoKazooie is absolutely a Nintendo franchise. It will never not be a Nintendo franchise, and you know why? Because the only game that Microsoft have actually made on their own, like, the only Microsoft game that's actually a Microsoft game in that franchise is that shite they called Nuts and Bolts. And that is that for my opinions on BanjoKazooie in this video, because we really don't need to get into a whole like section about that. It's yeah, I don't know. But yeah, in case you didn't know, I'm a huge BanjoKazooie fan as well. Put it this way, everyone's aware of that, especially if you caught the stream. It's insane. Sorry, my brain's moving at a weird pace at the moment. But yeah, so to think that BanjoKazooie could be joining the Nintendo Hall of Fame, as I was still calling it ridiculously at that point, because, well, this was around the time that they announced Cloud for the game. And put it this way, he'd been on a Nintendo console by that point, but he was still not a Nintendo character by any stretch of the imagination. Still isn't. Despite the fact that I do have Final Fantasy VII on Switch. But yeah, so that whole thing happened, and yeah, it's Phil Spencer said that he would go for it, and I've just spent like 4 minutes getting distracted. I'm so sorry. I was finally getting good at this. Anyway, hearing Phil Spencer say he'd be cool with Banjo and Smash made me realise there is absolutely no way it wouldn't happen eventually. So, VNX gets announced in 2016 as being for Nintendo Switch. And it takes a turn. You know, everything changes. You know, it's like talk begins of a new Smash game almost immediately after they announced a wrapped up DLC for Wii U and 3DS. And yeah, it's around this time that talk starts. Apparently they were just going to port over Smash 4, but nobody actually believed that. We just thought it would take a while before it came. Now, it's incredible because, like, I don't know how to go through all this. You know, it was the February Direct of 2018, I think, and it ends, and then the Direct ends, and then suddenly the screen goes white rather than red, and the Inklings appear in a trailer similar to their very first trailer for Splatoon 1 on the Wii U. And I knew from the moment I saw them appear because, well, DLC was unheard of to me, I'm pretty sure, for Splatoon 2. I didn't think that they were going to do DLC at all, especially not as a one last thing announcement. And, well, I don't know, it was a bit of a weird one because I didn't expect it. And to say the crowd went wild is the biggest understatement of the century, so we're clear. Which led to the hype cycle starting up all over again. We didn't know what this game would be. We only saw a few silhouettes of characters underneath the Burning Smash logo, which led to many of us actually believing it would be a reboot, not what it ended up becoming. And this is where it goes crazy, because I'm finally going to talk about it. I'm finally going to talk about the greatest hype cycle I've ever personally been a part of. Now, everybody's heard of Etika at this point around the internet. The man's name has rang across the internet ever since that tragic day in 2019. I was not an Etika fan by any stretch of the imagination, but I did always watch his content when Smash stuff came up. My guy was absolutely hyped every time something came up. And it's honestly incredible because he had such an energy to him, and he was such a beacon of positivity in his community. And when I found out what happened, it wasn't fun for me at all. It wasn't. But I digress. You know. Yeah. And seeing his reaction, seeing HMK's reaction, seeing all of it, for like a week after the reveal, I would go to different YouTube videos reacting to it. And I knew the Inklings would be incredible to play as. I also knew it would be talked about at E3 2018. And oh boy, it was talked about. And that trailer. Oh, that trailer. Everyone is here. Smash. The greatest celebration of gaming I've ever known. To say I was hyped when I found that out is an understatement, but it also meant no more wasting DLC slots on bringing back characters that should never have been cut to begin with. And that was what really mattered to me. This game was another chance to get them. The bear and the bird. And honestly, I was incredibly hyped, like from the moment it showed up. They said try not to expect too many new fighters when they first announced that everyone was coming back. And it was insane. You know, sorry, I'm struggling to get everything I want to say out of here. Yeah, when they announced Ridley was coming, I was incredibly I was incredibly excited. Ridley had always been talked about as a character that people wanted because Metroid. By the way, we are currently, as of recording, 3 days from Dread. And you know how incredible I find that? I find it incredible. Like, I digress again. But yeah, so Ridley was getting in, and even I knew how hyped that was because, well, even though he wasn't a character I understood why people wanted him in at the time, I did want him because that was what the internet said. That is what I believed. Then they announced King Kerrul, or King Kerrul as I call him, because, well, I'm a fan of the Donkey Kong Country TV show, I actually am. I unironically enjoy it. I think it's hilarious. I just think it has really dog shit animation, but it grows on you after a bit, actually. It's a little bit cursed, but it's no different to that Frosty's advert from the other day. So, damn, half an hour. I really have waffled on for 10 minutes about nothing. Yeah, so I'm trying to remember the order of announcements. So the characters kept getting announced, and then coming up on November time. So yeah, late October. An internet image began to circulate. Seriously, an internet began to circulate. What the fuck am I talking about? Yeah, so it was an image of the banner. It was a pretty low res image. And it was an image from Snapchat. Initially I dismissed it as being, like, it's fake. There are no real leaks. I'm not even talking about the biggest ultimate leaker. There's no need to yet. I will get to him with my affectionate nickname I've given him over time. This image of the banner, which I will now refer to by its name, the Grinch leak, contained my number one wish for Super Smash Bros. The biggest wish I could ever have asked for. Along with my second wish, which was more one of those for other people again. Gino. On top of that, like, so this leak contained Isaac, BanjoKazooie, Shadow, Ken, because, well, Ken was a given from the moment that Ultimate was announced. It was one of those, the moment Ryu got in, you knew his equal would be coming. The chorus kids were there. They seemed a bit random, but then again, we always have a random character, a joke character almost. Although I don't think they would have been a joke character. Like, it's one of those, really. Gino was on that leak, and Mark Ryder. We won. Or at least so we believed. I was trying to look for the YouTube comment I read on the day that they dropped the More Fighters trailer. You know, the greatest trailer I've ever seen, I might add, because no music. We all added our own music. But yeah, meanwhile, a notorious leaker who gathered steam throughout the time that the Ultimate Hype cycle had begun, called Vergaben, tried to claim that there was absolutely no way that the Grinch leak was real. Boy, I wanted him to be proven wrong so badly, not just because of Banjo and Kazooie, but because I hated the guy, who I will now lovingly refer to by my nickname for him, Veggie Burger. Don't even ask why, it's just something I've thought of. But yeah, Veggie Burger tried to claim that the leak was fake. He tried to claim Ken wasn't in the leak, which, well, bullshit. But Yeah, I actually like I'll pull it up now. Like the image of the leak because well I feel like I might as well. This is what I've been pulling from throughout most of this. So yeah, this image was a source of immense hopium for us all. It was incredibly realistic as well. Like, it was really well done. So you got Shadow, you got BanjoKazooie, you got Isaac, think that is Mark Ryder there. You got the Chorus Kids. Either way, had this have been real, we could have truly said that we'd won. Because not only would Banjo and Kazooie have gotten in, it would have meant no new Pokemon. Did I mention that by the time we got to 2018, I'd turned my back on the Pokemon series? Yeah, how times change. Once I have Mewtwo back, I was done with the Pokemon franchise being in Smash as well. So yeah, Team Real versus Team Fake warred on Twitter, on 4chan, on Reddit, on Reset Era, on Game FAQs, on all of the big sites. And then it came. November 1st, 2018. The Smash Bros. Direct. I was at a bowling alley at that moment. However, I was still watching. I was struggling to because there's a signal in the bowling alley. It was my friend's girlfriend's birthday, so we were there. I was winning. Then I focused on the direct for a moment. And yeah. The trailer begins and Ken's there. I was really, really hoping that that Ken would then be met by one of the Grinch League characters. And yeah, it happened. We saw Incineroar. And I felt so down because of that. Like, it destroyed me. Like, don't get me wrong, I was still happy with where the game was, but like, I was so hopeful for Smash Ultimate to have Banjo and Kazooie in. And the Grinch League was admittedly a bit far-fetched. I wasn't really expecting any new third-party characters, at least not the more difficult ones, from people who weren't already heavily involved. So, for example, Ken is a Capcom character from the Street Fighter series. You don't really need many more assets than came with Ryu, do you? Who was already in. Same would go for... I'm trying to think of an example, a good example. I'm trying to think of the base game roster now. I actually think he might have been the only third-party character. That explains it. But yeah. Expecting third-party outside of DLC. Because the thing with the DLC is, it pays for its own licensing. because people will buy it. And that is just easier. It's not nearly as simple as I'm explaining it, but like, yeah. So that was a thing that happened, and then they announced there was going to be DLC. They announced Piranha Plant as the first DLC. It would be an early purchase bonus before being relegated to paid DLC. And yeah, that went about as well as you'd expect it to. He was almost a joke character of the game. But yeah, we're all on Game Awards, and the most insane announcement they could have possibly made comes. You know, they announced, like, that Joker was coming to Smash Ultimate, and I didn't really know who Joker was, but I knew what Persona was. I vaguely knew. I didn't know what the games were about or anything. I just knew where they were, and it wasn't Nintendo. I was quite impressed. Put it that way. And then, my apologies. My apologies there. Yeah. So months pass, and we still don't know who the second fighter for the Fighters Pass will be. But yeah, Hero would be the second character, and okay, so Hero was announced in the E3 2019 Nintendo Direct, and don't get me wrong, I was fully expecting him. I tried to deny it being, but I knew. We all knew. We knew the truth. But yeah, it didn't really go so well. I was really not happy about that. I'm not too fond of RPG characters getting into Smash. Fire Emblem left a bit of a foul taste in my mouth. We'll get there. We'll get there. But yeah, so I actually think all of my Fighter Pass 2 character reactions are on record on the Infinity Games, but I don't know. I don't know anymore. So, yeah. Then the end of the Direct comes. And then suddenly there's another Smash reveal, and I'm like, wait, what? Then it's imitating the Donkey Kong styled King K. Rool reveal. And I know what's going to happen, but I don't want to get my hopes up, because I've been hurt before. The Grinch leak is actually the reason why, until No Way Home, I've refused to believe any leaks about anything. Prior to The Mandalorian shifting my perspective on a few things. But anyway, so, yeah. To say I lost my shit at that moment is an understatement. I had this thing. So, early 2019, literally January, I picked up from the game store that I'd gone to once. I think it was in a shopping centre. This thing. It was called a Totaku figure. May even have been 2018 for that matter, because yeah, this was it. I'd picked it up, and for the longest time it was in a box. I made a promise to myself mentally, a very small promise, that if they ever announced that Banjo and Kazooie were coming to Smash, or that a new game was coming, or even that it was coming to Switch, that I would unbox the Totaku figure. And yeah, I spent half of that reveal trailer unboxing that figure, because I'd hold it with me during E3 as a good luck charm. I was crying during the reveal trailer. How about that? I was crying. Like, it's not a massive surprise. If I can find it. Okay, I think these might be a little bit out of order, but yeah, I'll try it. Have I got it? I'm trying to find what I'm looking at. Okay, it's not letting me use that one, but it will let me use this one. Okay, so here we go. This was filmed on my Snapchat long time ago.
They used the ginger data!
That is all that was captured in my reaction. Originally I was planning to react to it on the very infantile, like the very early stage Infinity Games channel. Back when this was still a channel for devlogs and stuff of Escape Infection. An exam project I was working on. I've never felt so excited for anything in my life. I was incredibly... After the heartbreak of the Grinch leak, I finally got what I wanted. I kept up with the hype cycle for every other fighter. I had the Fighter's Pass anyway, so I played as them all. The original plan for this video was actually for me to try out Fighter Pass 2, because I didn't buy it at all. So I was going to buy it today. I might have played a little bit and talked a little bit about the Grinch leak, but you know, I wouldn't have bothered. You know, I just wouldn't have. I've ended up doing something way more personal with this video. It's... Byleth pissed me off massively because it felt so tone deaf for Nintendo to put Byleth as the last fighter. Which... well, it was stupid. Putting him last implied that he was the best. You know, the best character on that list. Only comparable to Joker. it felt arrogant because he was the worst character on that pass. He was shit. He was really shit. And I was not happy with that. I wasn't. It felt like the biggest piss take I'd ever been through, to be honest. Like, it felt like being stabbed by a friend. I get that that's an exaggeration, but like, I'm not saying it was logical. I'm saying that's how it felt. You know, So that happened, and I was incredibly, like, pissed off. But I was ready for Fighter Pass 2. Due to financial reasons, I never ended up buying it. Fighter Pass 2. Which led to me putting it off and putting it off. And even now that I actually have a job that I could pay for this shit with, I have chosen not to until possibly when the eShop comes back up. By the way, the internet went down completely today. Like, the internet went into mass hysteria because of Instagram and Facebook going down and supposedly being about to die because of the fact that they fucked up massively. So I'm just off the back of all that shit. Like, you gotta love it. The day before the end of Smash and everything goes to shit. So typical. So I have skipped over a large chunk of the hype cycle. I wasn't originally hyped for Terry Bogard, but he plays really well, so I don't really care. Like, he also makes sense. So, Fighter Pass 2, I didn't want Steve in either, to be honest. Although a large chunk of that had been about Banjo. Like, I really was not happy about the idea that Steve could get in over Banjo. People kept touting the relevance of the argument, and I will always talk about how Steve isn't the relevant one, Minecraft is. In fact, thanks to Minecraft, Banjo is even more relevant than that because of Alpha Lee. But that's a story for a different day. But yeah, I'm joking anyway, but like, yeah. So, in case I haven't made it obvious, my hype kind of died down for Smash. After Fighter Pass 1 after Fighter Pass 1 finished. I wasn't particularly willing to put up with most of it. Despite how hard I fought to play the game as much as possible. I don't know, it's I don't really know what to say. I don't. I wanna have some really profound things to say, but I'm a piece of shit when it comes to this stuff. I'm elitist. I'm actually incredibly elitist when it comes to Smash. Because I still don't want Jonesy in. I don't want Fortnite getting anything. If it has to get something, a Mii costume is all it's allowed. In my personal opinion. I get that that isn't necessarily the opinion held by people. But it still needs to earn its place. I know it's 4 years old at this point, something along those lines, but whoever this last fighter is, they need to be a staple of history, really. And they need to be related to death in some way, I think. I have a theory about that. That the trailers being about death so much means that the character will be related to death in some way. But I don't really know who that could be. Suppose it could be Doom. Maybe. But I could be wrong about that, judging by what I'm reading. It was... I don't know. It's hard, you know, it's... From what we know, it could be a very Western-centric character, which still screams Fortnite. I really hope it isn't. But no, I'm a piece of shit who's elitist. I know I am. You know, Smash is not important to me anymore. It hasn't been in a long time, but it is as well. If that makes any sense at all. Because, as I've hopefully made clear in this video, Smash is my absolute, like, biggest franchise throughout my childhood. Like, yeah, I had Mario. Of course I did. Mario 3 might actually be my first game. It's either that or Mario 64. Which means, obviously, I have a fondness for the franchise. I have a fondness for Mario that, even though I do nothing but bitch about it, still is a dominant thing in my life. Yeah. I mean, come on, I even own this. We all know I'm not happy with what happened with this shit. Although, to be fair, that was given to me. Like, but my point stands. You know, Smash is a once-in-a-lifetime experience, one that I personally don't think will ever really be replicated. It's important to me. It's not as important to me as Zelda, but it is important to me. It brought BanjoKazooie back, and it may even be the reason that it's coming to Switch in the next year. It could be any time from November onwards, really. Super Smash Bros. Is the fight of our lives, and it's happening right now. We're entering the final destination of everything, and it's been a wild life. You know, I've seen things that I didn't think were ever going to be possible thanks to this series. I've seen Nintendo New York City reactions. I've seen the compilations. I've seen a community brought together by the fucking Grinch, only to divide itself almost immediately after. I've seen so much, and I just wanted to say that whatever happens tomorrow or today, whatever, thank you, Sakurai, for being an incredible game developer and being a shining force in the industry. An industry plagued by liars, an industry plagued by all sorts of shit. Thank you, Sakurai, for being what we needed. I don't really know what else I can say. But But I suppose there is only one video that I can put on right now.